Hello Drone Racers, I'm Mark, and today on Drone Racer 101 we're going to look at some battery options for the FrSky X-Lite radio right here because they're kind of weird. These are all 18500 batteries, and these are literally every 18500 size battery you can buy off of Amazon. The problem is it's a weird size. A lot of the big battery places online don't even carry this size battery, or they do, but they don't have anything in stock. So I'm going to show you the results of testing all of these batteries, and then I'm going to show you the best 18500 size battery that is available today that you may or may not be able to find, and you may or may not want to buy because it might not be better enough for the price, because the price is crazy. So for comparison's sake, these are 18500 batteries, and this is an 18650 battery. So this is the traditional size that we've been using in our goggle cases, and just about everybody has been using for a lot of things. So first of all, let's cover what these numbers mean. They actually do mean something, and they make a lot of sense once you see it. So this is a great 18650. This is a Samsung 18650, and it's been really great. So we're actually going to measure this, and you'll see the diameter is 18 millimeters. Look at that. And the length of the cell is 65.0 millimeters. So that's exactly what that means. So in my first look of the X-Lite, I gave these a lot of gruff. I told people not to buy the EBLs. Now we'll get back to that. I've actually cut that part out of that video, but here's why. So the EBL 18650 is 18 millimeters, which is fine, but look at this. It's 68.5 millimeters long. Now it is a button cell, which we'll talk about in a minute, but even without the button, it's 67 millimeters. So you'll see this one is all torn up. That's because it doesn't fit in this case. It does, but if you look, I actually dented this case trying to get these cells in. These fit perfectly, and I've got a couple others. I've got some Sonys, I've got some Panasonics, they fit perfectly. These are just the wrong size, which caused me to expect these to be a problem. However, that hasn't turned out to be the case. So I charged up all of these cells, and I used two different chargers. One, the EBLs come with an EBL universal charger. Now I've heard different people say different things about this online. My experience has been just fine with it. It charged the cells up to just under 4.2. I actually prefer the Eastshine S2 charger. This is the one I have that I will probably just continue to use. I like it better for two reasons. One, it actually shows on the screen your voltage, how many milliamp hours it's put in. You can see a percentage on how much you've got left. You get no display at all with this thing. Also, this is a little thing, but see this? See the battery direction that the battery goes? The plus goes on the top. That just seems right. The EBL is actually backwards. The negative is at the top, and the positive is on the bottom. And while it shouldn't be a big deal, I'm more likely to screw it up with this charger. Now, this charger is super cheap and it's nearly free, but I just like having a better charger for this. So besides this one being the flat out wrong size, you'll also see it's a button cell, which is what you're used to with your AA's, AAA, C cells, D cells, whatever else you may use. There's actually a positive button connected on the top. So if you're connecting these in a flashlight or something where you need them connected in series, you need a button cell. This is a flat top though, and that's what a lot of things are using now. Pretty much everything we use will be able to use a flat top, and it's just a flat surface. You may have a spring on this side and a button. You can see it here on my Fat Shark 18650 headset battery case, which these are pretty nice. There's a spring on one side for the negative side, and there's already a button for the positive. The last thing is they come in protected and unprotected cells. The hard part is it's kind of hard to tell which one you're getting sometimes. You just kind of have to go off the description. So like there's no indicator on this what it is. This was probably made to go in like a laptop battery or something. This one does say protected cell, which could be part of the reason it's too big, but it's too big and that's not good. Protected means if you connect it in backwards, it won't short out and explode on you. It won't overcharge and explode on you. It won't over discharge and explode on you. Overall, you might see a trend that protected is good for the most part, but you lose some milliamp hours in the process. Okay, on to the 18500. So you will see here that this is 18, there we go, and it should be 50 millimeters right on. And you'll notice the EBL right dead on, maybe even just a little hair under 50 millimeters. That's because this is not a button cell. So if I set these up, we'll see the baseline, the Demon Fire, I think that's what it's called, the Westinghouse are all button cell batteries. So does that make them too long? Well, the baseline is 50, just a little over. So they're 50 and change, so it's a little bit over. Yeah, same deal. All the buttons are just a little bit taller. I do want to point out my calipers here. This is plastic, so I am not using conductive calipers. So the real question then is, how do they fit in the radio? So we'll take the EBL, and positive end goes in here. It's kind of hard to tell from the picture here. There's just a little negative here, and that means the negative goes on this side. So this fits in, and you'll see there's a little bit of a strain relief there. So that makes it so this cap fits on and it twists, and it's very, very easy to do. There's no excessive pressure at all. That's with a flat top. Let's try it with the Demon Fire. So you'll see, look, it actually sticks out a little bit, and as far as I can push it in, it's just flush. So that little bit of an extra makes a big difference, and I can get this thing on. I've done it. I can get it, but there's a lot of pressure there, and it's not really necessary. So I don't like that. Originally, these were one of them that I recommended. I've actually cut that part out, and I do not recommend these. And really, the other button cells, they're all the same way. Now, this is the one I used first, and these are one that I have set as recommended. And you'll see they still have that same string relief here, and it fits on without any problem at all. So as far as fit goes, you definitely want a buttonless battery for these. That narrows it down to these two options off of Amazon. Now the other thing you'll see that's different, this is an 1100 milliamp hour. This is it's a 1600. I really thought that was a separator for the cells here. The font just looks different, but it is 1600 milliamp hours. So from here, I did some testing on all of these cells before I checked to see which ones would actually fit or not. So what I did was I got them hooked up to my IDST charger in a way that I'm not going to show you because I don't want you to try and repeat it, but it worked for getting it connected and discharging. So I discharged them down to 3.3 volts. These batteries could go lower than that. And if I go in here to the menu, you'll see battery range is 6.7 to 8.3, which is just fine, and the kind of the default for these cells. The default battery warning low is 6.6 volts, which is 2 cells at 3.3 volts. So that's what I set my test to. I also discharged at 200 milliamps or 0.2 amps because if you look in the manual, that's basically what it says at 7.2 volts that it's going to draw. It was like 190 milliamps, so this is as close as I could get. So I was pretty happy with the EBLs. They went for 8 hours with the discharge cycle and took out 1.45 amp hours or 1450 milliamp hours, which is pretty good. That's pretty close to the rated spec. Because they say they'll be able to go down to 2.5 volts, you could actually get out, I'm sure, the full 1600. But I didn't want to in this case. This was a great result. Jettied, the yellow ones, did well too. They actually pulled out more in this. They were in for 6.5 hours and pulled out 1.11 amp hours. So that's actually more than they're rated for, and I didn't pull them down all the way. So not as good, but where they're rated. One more bit of information while we're at it. I did not show you the results of these because these are actually different batteries. These are actually life batteries, lithium iron batteries. So they have a fully different charging cycle. You can't charge these as high without bad things happening, but then they will be able to go as low. They're supposed to hold their charge longer better. For this, I don't think that really matters for us. Plus, these are button cells. Now, the Eastshine S2 does have a option for charging these. So if you do accidentally get these and you have to use them and you have an Eastshine, you can charge them, but I just wouldn't buy these. So it depends on what you want to do. These EBL batteries with the charger are about $15, $16. So that's not too bad. You can also get a 4-pack of them for about that same price. And then the Eastshine charger is $16, $18, something like that. Probably if I was doing this again, I would get the 4-pack of these and the Eastshine charger so that way I can keep 2 in the radio and keep 2 on the charger and just be permanently ready to go. The GT batteries are a little bit more. They were $13 for 2 of them. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're better, maybe they're not. I have not, and I am not going to disassemble these batteries to find out what they're like on the inside. I'm pretty happy with the results that I got in the discharge test, and I'm going to go with that. Or for all the battery experts, which I'm not going to claim to be one, I'm just going to show you what I have learned over here after some research. What about the good manufacturers like the Samsungs or the Panasonics or the Sonys and those companies that make really good batteries? Well, on batteryspace.com, you can get Panasonic 2000 milliamp hour batteries. These should be outstanding batteries. The problem is they're $8.50 each, and they don't do cheap shipping from these sites. So I calculated this out and added the cart, and it was going to be $30 for 2 of these batteries. Now, it'd be a little cheaper probably with shipping if you order 4 of them, but still, it was way more than double the price of these other cells. I would gladly pay a couple dollars more to get some Samsungs or some Panasonics or the same brands that I would buy with the 18650s. However, they're just really hard to find in an 18500, and when you can, they're super expensive. So like I said, what I would probably do for the FrSky radio is get the Eastshine S2 charger, which I was happy with and the reviews were really good for, and 4 of these EBLs. They fit, they work perfectly. The amount of power I pulled from them was at least comparable to their rating, and it was still higher than any of the others. So there you go. I'm not gonna claim to be an expert on this. I just tested them and I'm showing you my result. I will fully admit I was wrong in that first video, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because I deleted that section. I was so wrong. Also, remember, this is June of 2018. This will totally change as more batteries become available. I fully expect this to be outdated within days. But for you getting your radios today, hopefully you found this useful. So until next time, remember, the cap has a nice big chunk of metal that holds it on to the radio, but the part it connects to is mostly plastic with just a little bitty piece of metal. So I would fully expect that to break if you use the wrong size batteries in this. I also fully expect somebody to sell adapters for this to use 18650s within days.